Have you ever been there? You check your credit score on some free app, it says 760, and you're feeling on top of the world. Then you go apply for a car loan, and the dealer comes back and says, your score is actually 735. What's the deal? Are they both right? Well, today we're going to solve that exact mystery.
It's a fantastic question because, and this is the confusing part, you don't have one credit score. You have dozens. Seriously. They come from different companies, different models, different credit bureaus, even different versions of the same model. It means the score a mortgage lender pulls is probably going to be totally different from the one your credit card company sees.
So to really get why, you have to picture this as the main event, a title fight for your financial reputation. In one corner, we've got the long-reigning champion, and in the other, the up-and-coming challenger. Let's meet the two heavyweights who are battling it out to decide just how creditworthy you are. Okay, so FICO is the original, the OG. It rolled out way back in 1989, but its real knockout punch came in '95 when it basically became the required score for almost every mortgage in the US. For more than a decade, it was the only game in town. Then, in 2006, a new challenger, VantageScore, stepped right into the ring to take it on. And here's where the whole dynamic gets really interesting. FICO is its own company, Fair Isaac Corporation. But VantageScore was actually created by the three companies that hold all your data in the first place: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They literally got together and built their own competing product. So what we have here is a battle between an established giant and an alliance of the industry's own gatekeepers. So how do these two actually calculate your score? This is where we got to look at the rulebook. I mean, their goal is the same, figure out how likely you are to pay back your debt. But their methods, their secret sauce, surprisingly different. First off, some good news. Things have gotten a little simpler over time. Early versions of VantageScore used a totally different scale, which was, confusing. But today, they both use that same familiar 300 to 850 range. So no matter which score you're looking at, higher is always better. Simple as that. Let's look inside FICO's recipe, specifically FICO 8, which is one you'll see all over the place. Just two things make up a massive 65% of your score: your payment history and how much you owe. That's it. If you pay your bills on time and keep your balances low, you've basically cracked the biggest part of the FICO code. Now let's compare that to the VantageScore recipe. Right away, you can see payment history is even more important here. It's a whopping 40% of your score. They also group things differently, like lumping your credit history and your mix of accounts into one big slice. And these different weightings, this is the main reason your two scores can be so different, even when they're looking at the exact same credit report. Okay, here's a practical difference that really, really matters. When you're rate shopping, applying for a bunch of loans to find the best deal, FICO is pretty forgiving. It gives you a whole 45-day window where you can apply for all the car loans or mortgages you want, and it treats them all as just one single hit to your score. VantageScore has a much tighter 14-day window. But, and this is a big but, it applies that logic to all kinds of credit, including credit cards, which FICO doesn't do. All right, the next round in this showdown isn't just about how you're scored, it's about if you can even get a score at all. And let me tell you, this is a huge deal for millions and millions of people. Check this out. To even get a FICO score, you have to have a credit history that's at least 6 months old. If you're new to credit, you're basically a ghost to their system. VantageScore, on the other hand, can pop out a score after just one single month of history. This makes it way more accessible for, say, young people or anyone who's just starting to build their credit from scratch. And the impact of that one little change, it's staggering. 40 million. That is the number of Americans that VantageScore can give a credit score to, who are often just invisible to FICO. We're talking about people with a thin file, not enough data for the old school model. To put that in perspective, that's like the entire population of California suddenly becoming visible to the credit world. It's a game changer. And all of this brings us to the climax of the story, the high-stakes, big-money battle for control over the entire U.S. mortgage market. I mean, this is where the real power is. For almost 3 decades,
FICO has had an absolute iron grip on this market. Since 1995, the huge government-backed players, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, who back a giant chunk of all U.S. mortgages, have only accepted FICO scores. This created a virtual monopoly, leading to over 90% of all top lenders using FICO. But here's the plot twist. A government mandate is about to come in and just shatter that monopoly. Starting in 2025, Fannie and Freddie will be required to start using VantageScore too. This is nothing short of a seismic shift in the world of lending. The challenger is finally getting a shot at the title in the biggest arena of them all.
Okay, so we've got a champion, we've got a challenger, they have different rules, the market is changing. What does any of this mean for your financial life? Well, it means you need to have a game plan. You need to be a smarter consumer. First things first, you gotta know where you stand with both of them. You can usually get your VantageScore totally free from places like Credit Karma or maybe through your bank. For your FICO score, check with your credit card companies. A lot of them give it away for free to their customers. The key is to look at both. So here's your 3-step game plan. Super simple. 1. Check both scores regularly. 2. Understand what makes each one tick, like how FICO is big on how much you owe, while VantageScore is obsessed with your payment history. And 3, this is the most important step. Before you apply for any big loan, just ask the lender one simple question. Which scoring model are you using? Their answer tells you which rulebook you're playing by. Because at the end of the day, this whole showdown isn't really about which score is better or more accurate. They're just different tools. The only thing that actually matters is which tool a lender is using to make a decision about you. So the final question isn't FICO versus VantageScore, it's this. Do you know who's watching your wallet?